Hi, and welcome to GLP's 10 out of 10. And today we're chatting with British designer Tom Campbell. Tom is a multi-award winning lighting and production designer with a 15-year career in the entertainment industry, spanning theatre, festivals, television, and music. He works out of the acclaimed design house, Murad, and Tom has developed visual spectaculars for some of the most unique and revolutionary artists touring today, including 30 Seconds to Mars, The Amazons, Zeds Dead, John Grant, Carnival, Saint Etienne, Bullet For My Valentine, and Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. Tom's based out of the UK and has twice been awarded Knight of Illumination swords. Firstly for his work with Anna Calvi and the London Heritage Orchestra, and more recently for his work on Nick Mulvey's Wake Up Now tour. Earlier this year, Tom was also recognised by the Total Production International magazine in their TPI Awards, being shortlisted for Lighting Designer of the Year. Tom approaches every design with the passion and imagination that has earned him a reputation as one of the leading innovators in his field, and is always open to new projects with artists who want to push boundaries and captivate audiences like never before. Welcome, Mr. Tom Campbell.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Well, we're doing well, thanks. All things considered.
Yeah.
All things considered. Nice background. Do you see the two swords up behind you? They're awesome.
They've got to be in prime view of these the video chats we're having nowadays, which is becoming more regular. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Congratulations. That's fantastic. There's not many people who've got two in the world, so that's quite an achievement.
I think Kate Carter may have 4.
Okay.
I may have made that up, but I think that's acceptable. But yeah, two's pretty special. I think
it's certainly a good number. It's you can have a proper duel now. You can't just not just play with yourself. It's you can have a proper fight.
Well, I keep telling my wife in the zombie apocalypse we're fine.
Right, there you go. Perfect. So Tom, obviously you've got a long career already established. What was your first show as a designer?
So my first show as a designer, well, there's a bit of an origin story to it. It kind of came around whilst I was working in theatre. So I was working on theatre shows, essentially calling follow spots and loading trucks. And all of a sudden, this opportunity to light a Led Zeppelin tribute band popped up. And the show I was working on at the time was a very big musical theatre show, and I was the only lampy on it. There was 300 generics. I was putting the rig in every day, every week, and I was doing the relight as well. And I was just starting to get a little bit fed up with it, and I was like, you know what, I would like to take it. The money was nowhere near what I was on in the theatre world, but this was a turning point. I was 18, I was 19 at the time. I was like, this is what I want to be going to do. So let's just give it a chance. So I ended up lighting a Led Zeppelin tribute band called Live Zeppelin, and at the time they were getting reviews saying, don't worry about the Led Zeppelin comeback shows, which are 150 quid a ticket. Go and see these guys; they are as good, if not better. So, and who doesn't want to like Led Zeppelin, right? Right. The music is iconic. Most people who like rock music will know 90% of their songs.
Right.
It was fun. It was really fun. It's basically how I learned the lighting desk. It's how I learned most of the basic skills I still use today. You know what I mean? It's how to follow a drummer, how the drummer is the backbone of most rock bands, and yeah, it was great.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. What were they called?
They were called Live Zeppelin.
Right.
I mean, we were doing the affectionately named Toilet Tour, the shittest venues in Europe you could ever imagine to go to, but it was fun. It's where I cut my teeth, in the back of a transit van with a bunch of guys who were Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how they lived their life. The guitars were identical, their hairdos were identical, the shoes were identical. They lived it. They absolutely lived it. So
right.
Yeah, it was great fun.
Fantastic, a passionate group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Passionate's definitely the term.
So since then, and thinking up to today, you know, we're asking everybody, what was your Spinal Tap moment? I'm sure, you know, over 15 years, there's been a number of good stories that have come up. But was there one that always sticks in your mind? What's the one that you're willing to tell us? I'm sure there's plenty that you don't want to tell us, but what's the one that you'll share?
There's one that I'm a very good sound engineer friend of mine, Stuart Avis, will never let me forget. So that's the one I'm going to have to tell you. It's so I was on tour with a band called Devil Sold His Soul, who are quite a heavy metal band. It was actually around the same sort of time as the live Zeppelin thing. It kind of overlapped, and it was back in the day where I still wasn't touring a lighting desk, so we were relying on the house lighting desks. And we were somewhere in Germany, and the rig had to be split up into two different consoles. It was like an MA Light Commander or something like that for the generics in the rig, and I can't remember what, and another console for the intelligence. So I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I'm a little bit vertically challenged, so I had to stand on a box at the back of this club so I could see over the crowd. And I mean, there were still 200 people behind us who saw everything that happened. But in my inexperience, both the desks were still on their wheels on the flight cases. So as the show went, they kind of started creeping further and further apart. And at one point, I went to go and grab on the desk. I wasn't paying attention, or I was enjoying the music too much, and I fell right between them into Stuart Avis, the audio engineer in front of me. So, and all I remember is just getting up and he's pissing himself laughing.
Right. That was, like, you're at the heat on the floor.
There's no way of pretending that didn't happen, because the band are laughing on stage, the sound engineer and 200 people behind front of the house are pissing themselves laughing. So I think that's pretty Spinal Tap. Nothing was broken. The show carried on. There was no blackout. So I got away with it. But everybody, the radios were going, "You're right, Campbell, you pissed?" Or what's going on?
Everybody saw it.
I was just enjoying myself too much.
There we go. That's good. That's for the right reason. And a lighting desk has never been left on its wheels ever since.
Oh no. Well, probably. But yeah, let's throw a rag around it or something. Some token break.
Yeah. There we go. So over the years then, what's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot. There has been a lot of advice, and you still get advice today. And I'll never not listen to the advice. But the one piece that stands out, again, it's back in my theatre days. One of the stage manager called Rick Kavanagh. Just basically, when I was young, you could maybe saw I was potentially a bit of a live cannon, or I don't know. But he basically told me to respect the local crew, because next time you come round, they're going to remember you. And if you are being a dick to them, and I assume the reason he was giving me this advice was I was being a dick to them, or being, or he saw potential there. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I would respect the local crew. They're humans. They're all trying to do the same thing. There shouldn't be a hierarchy. All we're doing is loading lights in. If they've done a good job, if you can, make sure you leave some beer for them. And next time you come back through that venue, they're going to remember that. And those little favours you ask that might be a little bit pushing the boundary out will just get done straight away. Especially the venues where it's a difficult load-in, where you've got Birmingham Institute comes straight to mind, where there's 20 odd steps into it, but you turn up there and, "Hey Tommy boy, how you doing?" Or Glasgow Barrowlands, "Hey Tommy boy, how you doing? You haven't brought too much shit with you this time, have you?" Jokey, and the show flies in. Right. You know what I mean? So just showing respect to your fellow crew is just, I mean, it goes without saying, but it was the best bit of advice I've ever been given. Yeah. And luckily it was given to me early on.
That's good. That's good. No, that's true. I mean, everyone's all pulling together in the same direction to get the show open on time. Like
we're a team.
Big team.
That's the end goal. We all have the same goal, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So over your career, what's your proudest achievement so far? I'm going to say, not.
Well, I mean, there are a couple that come to mind. I guess so. A band that not many people will have heard of, but if you have heard of them, they are legends in their own right. They're a band called Headless for Heroes, and that's what I was listening to when I was at college, learning how to do lights. And out of the blue, a couple of years ago, I got an email to say, "Hey Tom, my name's Omar. I am tour manager for Headless for Heroes. Would you like to chat about doing our lights on the reunion tour of the album I was listening to whilst I was in college, learning how to do lights?" You know what I mean? So I had to delete the email saying, "Yeah, I'll do it for free, whatever." Blah, blah. Delete that out of the way. Get your head straight. So I would say that's that's up there for sure. Whether it's my proudest achievement or not, it's still, that was a moment where, okay, that's a full circle there. That's come back round, and that's what I want to do. This is one of the bands that inspired me to do lights. That was a big tick off my list of things to do. Let's put it that way. Whether it was a proudest achievement or not, that's something else. But I guess I am starting to get a lot of fellow LDs or even students who are studying lighting coming up to me and saying I'm doing things differently, or they see my shows as interesting, not off the shelf looks, and that's starting to happen a little bit regularly nowadays, and that's always a nice, cool. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to plagiarize anyone else. I'm not trying to plagiarize myself. Every show has to be different. So when people notice that's I think that would be my proudest achievement. Right. The fact that that's from LDs I genuinely respect, and students who are really very much looking at the industry in every minute detail. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. So you're effectively starting to forge some of their careers and forge the next generation coming through as well, which is giving back or giving forward is always awesome.
Any if I can inspire anyone to do lights, so I think that'd be quite cool. It's a cool job anyway. They don't need me to inspire them, but it's if I've inspired one person to do lights, then cool, I've done my job right.
That's great. That's right. So outside of shows and outside of your touring requirements and everything, what do you do in your downtime?
I mean, there's a lot of downtime at the moment, isn't there? This COVID's actually made a lot of people have a downtime, which is a blessing and a curse. And I mean, last year I didn't really have much downtime. I was away for 8.5 months, so I kind of neglected that, having some downtime and some freedom and being a dad and having spending time with my family properly. So at the end of last year anyway, I had decided to take a bit of time off. So December and January and February, and then COVID's happened. So that's now been extended. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. I'm being a dad. I've got a 2-year-old son who's chaos at the moment because he's getting bored in the house, but it's good chaos. It's good fun. We're doing lots of arts and crafts. I'm perfecting my soups. I've got my soup game is strong right now. It's not my rock and roll, I guess. But and I'm just getting all those DIY jobs done that I told my wife that I'm too busy to do, and we might get someone in to come and do it. But now I knocked the wall down under the stairs. We put new radiators in. I've just been fine tuning the house and making it ours. So that's kind of nice. But just having a bit of time away from touring in general is nice. I'm definitely noticing my body thanking me a little bit, and the downtime might be hard to stop. You never know. I might not go back.
There's the dangers of that, right? You get used to it. But if your wife is anything like mine, she can't wait for me to start traveling and getting out again.
She did used to say before COVID, when's the next tour? What you got planned? if I have like 2 or 3 weeks at home, she's like, when's the next tour?
Yeah.
What have you got in the diary? Can I have a look? And now COVID's just killed all our industry. She's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to change? How are we going to innovate this problem? No, we're having wonderful time.
He's getting used to it. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You mentioned some different venues earlier. Obviously, you've toured all across, the UK, Europe, and further afield from that. You've been over here in the States as well. What's the best venue you've ever worked in, if you could single out one? Best
venue. I mean, I like the weird ones. I like the ones that aren't necessarily I like the shows that aren't necessarily in a venue. So a promoter's found a nice warehouse you want to put a gig on, or a rave, or some church. We did the Anna Calvi gig we did in a church in Hackney that had never put a show on before. So we basically had to bring everything in, from the power to the stage to absolutely everything. And that was one of the shows that got a sword. So that was kind of fun. One that definitely stands out in my mind though is there's a festival, and I don't know if that counts, but it's a festival called Envision Festival, which is in the middle of the Costa Rican rainforest, and that was mental. That was a true experience actually. So the stage was in the middle of a clearing in the rainforest, a natural clearing. They hadn't cleared it, and there was a small pathway through actual rainforest to a beach that was essentially on the equator. So, I was looking after the main stage. I was there for 2 weeks, I think. It was a pretty nice life for a while, where you would do the show, the headliners would finish. They would do the sunrise sets, so they would finish at 5 a.m. in the morning. You finish work, go jump in the sea. It was great.
Wow.
In fact, I think it was one of the coolest AAA passes I've ever had. I think it's here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. A carved wooden AAA pass.
Wow.
From Vision, Costa Rica.
That's pretty special.
It was pretty cool. The whole experience. That little path down to the sea, we were told in no uncertain terms to go off the path, but obviously being a stupid British tech, I kind of forgot that, wandered down my own way, and all of a sudden there was the biggest boa constrictor I've ever seen just hanging out of a tree. I was like, right, yeah, that's why you stay on the path. It was kind of a little bit of a, you've forgotten where you were there, Campbell.
Right.
You're not in somewhere safe.
You're not back in sunny.
We basically slept. Like it sounds really like you were roughing it at the time, but it was great. We slept on essentially 2 wooden pallets with some foam in like a canvassy sort of village. It was great, but I never looked underneath the foam. I'm sure there was all sorts of creepy crawlies underneath it, but yeah, it was a cool experience.
That's fantastic. That's an awesome thing to get
Not
involved.
a lot of sleep on that one, but I'll tell you those stories when we're not recording.
In terms of obviously we're in the middle of the Corona lockdown at the moment. If there was one artist or one album that you would, it would be the last thing that you would ever give up in terms of listening to music, who's the one who can help see you through?
Well, based on what I've been listening to in lockdown, there's a band called the Cat Empire, if you've heard of them. They are Australian, funky ska, lots of trumpets, very summery, very barbecue vibe. So they've been on quite a bit if we've been out eating outside, that comes on. So that, based on what I'm listening to right now, is the Cat Empire, I guess. A friend of mine is their tour manager, and that's how I kind of ended up knowing about them. So that's kind of cool. In fact, a friend of mine, Paula, is their LD as well. She does wicked shows. But yeah, it's nice summery vibes for the lockdown. You've got to keep it happy. And my son loves dancing to it. So
I'm sure with trumpets and a 2-year-old, you can't go wrong, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not familiar with it. I've given a listen to the Cat Empire.
That's the name of my autobiography. Then trumpets and 2-year-olds. There you go.
Right. Looking back, if you could give some advice to the teenage Tom Campbell, what would that be?
All right, where to start? I guess just don't take life so seriously. Don't take things so personally, and especially now when I'm designing for artists, you invest a lot of time in them, and when you part ways, it can be a bummer. So I guess not taking things so personally, not investing so much personal time into things. Obviously when needed, I guess, but it's only lights. That's the advice. It's only lights. Lights are the garnish to the show. If it's not, no one's going to die. So, I mean, I take what I do very seriously, and I love it to bits. But I think in the past I've probably taken it too seriously. Fallen out with some people that I probably shouldn't have fallen out with over stupid things. So I guess not taking things so seriously or personally. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. Keeping a perspective. To everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What we do is interesting, but it's not worth losing friends over.
Right.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also, our industry is getting very cutthroat. There's a lot of division. I want to keep it I want to collaborate with as many people as I can and have fun doing it and create some incredible stuff. That's all I want to do. So
there we go. Yeah, no, that's great advice. Keeping the fun aspect, because everything obviously we're doing is all about fun at the end of the day, but entertainment.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that's come out of this whole COVID pandemic is my wife's a nurse. She's on the front line. She's in the Nightingale in Bristol, which, yeah, it's not strictly open yet, but they're still rushed off their feet. And it has very much made me realise what we do it's almost a joke, in a way. All we do is like flashlights at bands or near a band, and sometimes they're in time. I mean, it's the garnish to the show. The people have come to see the artist. If you can do something that's inspirational and worthwhile, then that's what we should be doing. But we certainly shouldn't be fighting over anything.
Yeah. No, there we go. And of course, on behalf of all of us, please say thanks to your wife, who's doing for her and all of her profession are just been absolutely, phenomenal. Lifesavers, literally.
I'll certainly pass that on. That'll make the world to her. I mean the world to her, I should say. But yeah, it's strange times we're living in. I think we can take positives from all of the negative things going on right now. And I think hopefully the world will be a better place after that. Well, after this.
That's right. Hopefully, yeah. All the good stuff gets remembered. That's sure. So if you were now to have the opportunity to sit down with anybody, could be living, could be dead, and sit down, for a cup of coffee or a glass of whiskey and a cigar, who would that be?
Well, there's so many to choose from, I guess, but I really don't know. This one's a bit of a toughie, I guess. I'm really obsessing a little bit about ancient Egypt, and there's not a lot we know about that. Especially, I went down the rabbit hole, and it's a conspiracy, but I went down the rabbit hole of how old the Sphinx actually could be because of some water erosion based on the base of it. So I would like to. All right, maybe I'd like to speak to the person who was in charge of carving the Sphinx. How's that?
Right. There we go. That's a brilliant answer.
I wasn't planning on saying that at the start of the sentence.
That's a brilliant answer. No, any of the other answers we've had haven't come close to that. So that's
okay. Well, yeah, it's
the architect.
I don't know where it came from. That came from a very weird part of my brain, Mark. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if the timeline we've been told is right, because there's a lot of things that point to it's not. But okay, it's a conspiracy. Yeah. Like chemtrails and flat Earth. Ooh.
But it's fascinating, everything that they built down there, with the Egyptian Sphinx and yeah, everything that's a lot of it, you say, still being discovered. So it's yeah.
There's a site so we last summer with 36 to Mars, we toured through Turkey, very close to a place called, I can't pronounce it properly, but called Göbekli Tepe or something like that, and it's a site they've just recently discovered to have the oldest evidence of humans. I think it's like 10,000 BC or something like that. So that's somewhere I'd like to go. So that kind of ties in with the Sphinx.
Right.
Creator.
Absolutely.
Head architect. Yeah.
Wow.
That was random.
All right. So that's awesome. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. We got to our final question already. The time has gone by so quickly. So we threw in this kind of fun one just to see how people react to it. So the question is here you are sitting at home, and all of a sudden you get a phone call, and it's the Olympic team, it's the British Olympic team, and they're calling you up for service. Now it could be the summer or it could be the winter Olympic team, but they're calling you up for service. Now what sport are they calling you up for?
Well, this year they're not calling us up for anything. So the next
well, that's true.
I mean, they've got to give us time to train, I guess. I've recently got really obsessed with archery. Okay. So me and Fran, not so much at the moment, obviously, with the current climate, but we really got into archery, longbow archery, and it's surprisingly freeing. It's very, I think they call it moving meditation, because you're focusing so hard at one thing, you turn the other parts of your brain off, and you might have anxieties about work or whatever. It's fair. I even joked the first time I did it, this is my new therapy, and we've just been going back ever since, and I'm actually surprisingly good at it. Like, I surprise myself, especially when I'm not thinking about it. I can hit that target quite well, which I'm quite happy about. So I guess archery, that is an Olympic sport, right?
Archery, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good. Been around for a long time.
Yeah. So I guess that really. I used to play a lot of tennis. I used to coach tennis back before I found theatre and touring and that sort of stuff. But I would say archery. That's what I'm really enjoying doing at the moment, which is not. And yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it more actually.
Yeah,
let's do it.
That's good. I think that sounds like a solid thing. Try and finding the balance between, you know, time on, time off, and being able to have that, finding your relaxation area, your Zen zone, so to speak.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Zen. There is a book I was starting to read. I should pick it up again. I've got time. I think it's called Zen in the Art of Archery.
Okay.
I forget who it's by, but it's that's all about the moving meditation side of it. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's really interesting.
Like you say, you've got time to finish the book now.
Yeah, I've got no excuses not to finish the book. Yeah.
Tom, it's been absolutely awesome chatting with you and catching up with you. Thank you so much for finding the time.
Absolutely.
We certainly look forward to seeing you and all of your colleagues at Mirad out on the road again soon with tons of new creative designs.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Mark. It's it's nice to chat to you. We don't chat as often as we should, so let's do it more often.
That's a good thing that's coming out of the
it really is.
Getting more of the conversations going on. So
yeah.
Stay safe. Tom, once again, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye.